So thank you for your work yesterday on linking verbs and subjects. It was exciting to see you find those and to also be able to write some sentences with them. So good job with that. Today we're going to take it a little bit further. So far we've been writing pretty simple sentences with very few words. Today we're going to be looking at some sentences that contain more words, and we're going to be making sure that we find the main verb of the sentence because that can be deceiving. So what we're going to do is look at this next slide. I'm going to have to move it over a little bit here because for some reason there's strange formatting going on. So we've had these search and check steps, and we had just 3 steps to them before. They spelled arc actually, and now they're going to spell mark. M-A-R-K. So if you look here, we're going to be marking out the imposters. And if you look on the right here, I have a picture of Elvis. Hopefully you know who Elvis is. Otherwise, ask your parents or your grandparents about that. But this is not a picture of Elvis. It's actually an imposter. It is someone who does musical gigs as him, but dressed as him, but is obviously not him. So an imposter is someone who's trying to be something else. And the Elvis imposter here is a perfect example of that. So what's going to happen is we're going to be looking to find the infinitives. And infinitives are usually made up of 2 words, and they usually include the word to and a verb. So if you look at the right side here on the bottom, we have the word to plus the simple form of a verb, and they gave you skate, run, etc., equals infinitive. So to skate is an infinitive. To run is an infinitive. So those are not going to be verbs, they're going to be infinitives when you're looking at the sentences. So we have an example here. Madonna likes, let's add a likes to sing. Madonna likes to sing. So we have an infinitive here. The infinitive is to sing. So your verb actually in this sentence is going to be likes, and your subject would be Madonna. Your infinitive would be to sing. So once again, likes would be the verb, Madonna would be the subject, and to sing is going to be in an infinitive. So now we're going to remember that pin strategy that we've used before. And remember, with the pin strategy, we're always going to be picking a formula for step 1. Right now we're just using SV for our formulas. And then 2, we're going to explore words to fit the formula. So that means that we're going to think about the words we want to write our sentence about. And then 3, we note the words, which means we write or we type them on our computer. And then 4, we search and check. So always remember to be using these 4 steps whenever you're writing a sentence. That's just a review. And then here is our search and check steps that we've been discussing. And like I said, we did ARC before. We did the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th steps. Today we're adding the 1st step, which makes it mark then. So the first step is going to be to mark out imposters. We want to find those infinitives or prepositional phrases. Infinitives go with the verb and prepositional phrases go with the noun. So sometimes they will look a little different. Usually they're going to be an infinitive though. And then the second part of this step is once again to ask yourself, is there a verb? So like in that Madonna likes to sing, the verb was likes. Then we wrote out the subject. Madonna was the subject. We always ask who or what is doing the verb. And then 4, we make sure that we key in on the beginning, ending, and meaning of the sentence. So we want to make sure that the beginning has a capital letter, the ending has punctuation, either a period, question mark, or exclamation mark, and then the sentence makes sense, that it has a meaning. So we're going to look at some examples here. First of all, we have Emily likes to ride horses. So if you look here, we have an infinitive. We have to ride horses. So that's going to be our infinitive. Let me move this over here so you're seeing the whole screen. Sorry about that. So infinitive is to ride horses on this first one. Loves would be your verb, and then Emily is going to be your subject. So once again, infinitive is going to be anything that has to usually with it. In this one, it has two words actually. So actually the horses probably goes with Emily as a preposition. So to ride horses is your extra part of the sentence. Your verb is loves and Emily is your subject. We have Carl likes to swim for the second one. And once again, we have that two words, so that's going to make us believe that there's an infinitive. So to swim is your infinitive, likes is your verb, and Carl is your subject. And then we have Dan ordered a sandwich to eat. We have a lot going on here. So we have to eat, which is going to be an infinitive. A sandwich is what he ordered, so actually that's part of it too. And then so ordered is actually our verb in this one. And then our subject is Dan. So a sandwich to eat is all the extra stuff that goes with Dan ordered. Ordered is your verb and Dan is your subject. So hopefully infinitives are making sense here. Remember that we're going to want to always use our pin strategy, and then we're going to always want to use those search and check steps when we're doing assignments. So make sure that you're doing those when you do the assignments that we have about infinitives for today, and I look forward to seeing your work.